Thank you very much. Thank you for the ICT for inviting me to talk about innovation this morning. And I'm very pleased to be here to deliver this speech in front of this international audience. So thank you also for coming from all the parts of the world to Paris. Welcome to Paris. And I'm very pleased also because today I'm playing at home because I'm part of Orange Innovation, so it's easier for me. What I do is I work for Luc Breton in the Innovation Marketing Division, and I basically balance my work between two things: initiating and monitoring, managing offbeat digital projects. The last one, it's called Imagine with Orange. It's a co-creation platform for consumer, and please go and visit Imagine with Orange. And the other thing is I write about innovation management, more specifically on a blog which is called rapidinnovation.fr. And this fits also the way that we organize innovation within our teams. Today I'm going to talk about rapid innovation model. Why is there a necessity for this kind of organization? What is the way I suggest to manage it? And what result we can expect, and what next step we can envisage for this model. So why? There are many reasons why we need to be fast in innovation. The first one in our digital industry is because of the competition. While we had national competitors, now we have competitors coming from every part of the world and from different industry. When I say we, I speak of the telco industry, and now we are competing with players coming from the digital industry, not only with telco. Customer loyalty, well, product obsolescence is fast, and so customers are now used to renew their products, their usage quite fast. Crisis, one way to get out of this crisis is to find new growth paths. And more intrinsic parameter is that delivering new business at fast path in itself has benefits. The faster is the better, says Google Innovation Team, meaning that by stretching ambitious timeline, you focused on the main results and you get better results. Iterating fast. The first product is not always the best one. Remember that the iPhone first didn't have 3G for an handset that wanted to connect on the internet. Now try to connect on the internet with GPRS or Edge network, and you will tell me about it. So even Apple had to iterate fast to have the second release of the iPhone with the 3G. And also, fast pace is also linked to agility. There is a new role of the company within the innovation market, which is what we call a pivot enterprise, which is the way that we create innovation with an ecosystem. And so you have to be agile and to be fast to be able to cooperate with all the different players that are part in the ecosystem. So I hope you are convinced that we need to be fast. How can we do that? First, we have to say we are not so fast. We are not so fast, meaning large companies are not so fast. The first obstacle for innovation is, of course, cannibalization. Often when we have a new idea, it's somewhere disrupt or can cannibalize the current business that we have spent years to optimize and to make profitable. To make this business profitable, we build structure, and structure slow down innovation agility. Innovation is linked to unpredictable results. You can bet, but you cannot be sure of what you will get, which is different from the way that we initiate marketing or sales project within the usual structure where we bet on predictable results. Often, risk is not rewarded, and the large company lack of innovation culture. So someone like Vijay Govindarayan from the US says, innovation cannot happen inside the performance engine, the usual large company process. It requires a dedicated innovation team. When we have a look at different models for innovation, and we've reviewed around 15 companies, we have basically two paths for innovation. On the left, this is a three-ring innovation model. It's a model of internal and external interaction in a global innovation culture. Everyone is allowed to innovate and to suggest new ideas. This is a model that whose archetypes are 3M with the Post-it story, Procter & Gamble with the Open Innovation Initiative, Cisco, the open source movement where everybody collaborates, Sanofi, Renault are other examples of that type of culture. On the other part of the slide, there is a dedicated entity model. Well, in this case, not the complete company is involved in innovation, but it's an autonomous unit which is pursuing new and uncertain activity line. It's a way also to isolate risk because this unit is dedicated to this uncertainty. So we have the famous example of Skunkworks at Lookid, Saturn, which was a specific dedicated unit for automobile at General Motors, I think. IDEO, the design agency, and EDF, corporate business innovation, which was also an autonomous unit. And of course, in real life, nobody is on the left or on the right. We have entities which are going over the two paths. Oticon, Decathlon, Gore, many players of the video games, Google and Apple, they manage both a global innovation culture, innovation is rewarded, and the fact that they are able to set up very autonomous and agile innovation entities. So in our case, we want to be fast. So imagine we don't have that from the start, that innovation culture globally. To set up such a culture, it means 3 or 4 years work on transforming the company. We want to be fast. We don't have that time, so we set up an autonomous unit. What does autonomy means? Autonomy is truly the motor of motivation. And when motivation is freed, it unleashes creativity, which is the first step of innovation. With autonomy comes a risk-taking culture, which means also a tolerance for failure, and fluidity in the process. But autonomy is not separation. You have a different playground, you have different processes, like being able to hire new people, like being able to make purchase order in a more fluent way. This is usually the two slowdown for innovation process. You have a different yardstick. You don't compare your innovation project with ongoing business project with the same indicator, success indicator factor. You are different, but you are not a spin-off. You have to bring back the innovation value within the corporate. This is the main challenge. And to do this, to help this, to foster this, you have to leverage the core company assets. So you realize here that innovation is not a solitary path, it's truly a collective adventure. You are autonomous, but you have to cooperate with the core co, and it brings value to innovation. Even the Google car, at some, which is a very autonomous initiative from Google, from a specific entity dedicated to what they call moonshot innovation, have in some part, or will have at a certain time, to join the core company and to leverage the core company asset to be able to make an impact on the market. And autonomy, if it unleashes creativity, it doesn't entices excellence. There are still the innovation pitfalls that you have to monitor and to overcome. So some pitfalls are, you come out with a fuzzy value proposition. Your great concept does not transfer in a nice customer experience, in a sleek customer experience. Your team is not acting collectively between designer, marketers, developers. They don't share the common goals. They don't act simultaneously. The ecosystem around your product or services is not engaged. So you are transforming this market on your own, which is quite hard. User experience is rejected. It's too much change for the customer. It doesn't feel the value of the experience on your product. And the marketing, 4P, and especially price, promotion, place, is not adapted. So to overcome these pitfalls, you have to understand that innovation is a discipline, we will come back to this later, which is based on knowledge circulation. If you look at all these steps, it's basically about explaining your idea to your team, explaining your idea to your colleagues, explaining your idea to the market. It's about knowledge circulation. And when I mean explaining, I don't mean teaching or selling. I mean interactive, so being as well ready to make your innovation evolve and adapt to what the other people say to it. So Jeff Bezos said it perfectly. He said, you have to be stubborn, so to be on your idea, believing in your idea, and flexible at the same time. So therefore, the first pillar, autonomy, does not make it on itself. We need to add two other pillars on the model, on the platform, which are creative tension and strategic alignment. Creative tension is really about creating a common culture within the team on two aspects. The first one is making the team understand that innovation is a discipline, so feeding the team with the innovation culture based on different approaches like user-led approach, design thinking, lean startup, open innovation. All these concepts have to be understood by the team. We see now in France rising a series of innovation master at HSC Polytechnique, ESSEC, Business School, and so on, which means that innovation is becoming to be understood as a true discipline like finance, marketing, and so on. And the other thing that you want to feed to the team is the innovation focus. Narrowing the scope helps the team. Defining the challenge that we want to solve helps the team. Stretching the goals helps the team. And on this scope, the team can build a common belief and progressively shaping the identity of the innovation. Alignment, I've mentioned it a little bit already. It means networking. And because the autonomous unit has to work with the core company, it means building a network of innovation peers within the company. Getting in touch very upstream and talking, interacting about the innovation with the core company units, trying to find roadmap opportunities. One has to understand that the core company has its own roadmap, and it doesn't wait for you to feed it. So you have to find opportunities, changing their fear to change into a desire for change. Another thing which is important at the end is to share a portfolio with the core company So basically, it materializes the fact that we have common objectives. Still, bottlenecks are rising. Even if you do these three things, autonomy, creative tension, strategic alignment, you may fail. Haste is one thing, speed another, so you have to manage speed and don't go into haste. But more important, alignment with a core company might slow down the process. If you spend too much time interacting about your innovation with a core company, at the end, the speed that you have is the speed of the core company. So we don't meet our objective. And also, knowledge circulation requires altruist innovation leaders. So as an innovation leader, you have to lead your team and spend a good part of your time talking about your innovation. And not everyone has this kind of mindset. So what can we do to work around this bottleneck? Here comes the fourth pillar, and the last one. It's called modular design. What is modular design? It's a functional module based on the theory of Clark, embedded in multiple services through what we call an API, basically a connection between different digital services. So famous API are the Facebook API that helps you to identify yourself on many websites, or the Google Map API, where you can, which enables the fact that you can see Google Map in different websites. But functional module is organic creativity. That is to say that the intent of this module is to be built and then to let others build value on top of your platform. It's like a Lego brick. We give you the tools and you create. So it's more like a design thinking approach. It's not top-down like decomposing a complex system into different modules. It's more bottom-up. It's B2B2C. You have to think of the people who will use your module like developers, but at the end you have to think of the end user. It's about staging innovation because API is not very self-explaining, so you have to stage it in a kind of demonstrator, mock-up, or proof of concept. Of course, it's about evangelization of your ecosystem and thinking extensibility and scalability. Successful LPI handle millions of connections. What result? Well, the first result, which is not always mentioned, is that an API, it's explicit knowledge. You don't have to explain a Google API to a Korean developer. The team don't connect. The Korean developer goes on the website, and in 5 minutes, he can start using the Google API. So it's absolutely explicit, which means that it decouples cooperation. You can work on developing your functional module and modules, many modules, without being synchronized with the innovation team that will use your module. You can have two speeds. So speed is back. It's about time to market and flexibility for the user. You deliver a module, and the team that will use the module can implement it the way that it wants. You can have parallel implementation, parallel uses on your module. You can reuse your module in multiple projects. When you have different teams using your module, you get cross-functional enhancements, feedback from this different team. And here I mentioned API and internal module for innovation, for internal innovation, but a lot of API are exposed to the market, which brings new revenue, because it can be free or paid API. New reach, people using your API are exposing your service to other markets. And of course, it's facilitated partnership and open innovation because you can work on the basis of this module. What's next? I have a dream. I would like to extend API fully to internal innovation. That means in each innovation product, each innovation initiative would come with its API. And basically, it would be built on its API. So be your own customer. It's a dream, but Jeff Bezos made it true in 2002, so it's already 12 years ago. He sent a mail to his team saying all teams will henceforth expose their data and functionality through API. And it was implemented internally at Amazon, and a few years later it gave birth to a new business which is called Amazon Web Services, which is exposing many Amazon API to the market. When you combine modules, you can shape a strategic portfolio of API that can be reused in many innovation projects. So it's really strategy. And when every business is an API, new businesses can form instantly by linking the different modules. You know that at Orange, we have a very intensive open innovation project. This is not a comprehensive slide, but what we do at the level of Luc Breton division is this fourth initiative. Orange Partner is exposing our API to the market, to the community of developers. Orange Fab, it's an accelerator. Orange for Development means or initiate partnership with incubators. So at an early stage level for startup also. And Imagine with Orange is the co-creation platform for consumer, even more early stage, that we have set up. All this initiative can be facilitated by the use of API, providing knowledge in an explicit way to our partners. Thank you very much.